is poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the COLab experiment. I'm Jeff. That's Matt. That's Nicole. If you haven't followed us, you can catch me at COLab Jeff on Instagram.
You can catch me at COLab Matt.
And you can find me at COLab Cole, and you can find all of us at the COLab experiment.
These are facts. So, hope y'all had a good week. Me and Matthew did some athletic things this week. We had a nice little round of golf.
Did have a nice little round of golf. Went over to Eagle Trace on Thursday.
Here in Broomfield, Colorado. Yeah. Got our drives on. Got our iron game on a little bit. Need some work, right?
Yeah. First round of the season. Little rough right now.
Played with some old men.
Yes, we did.
It was a good time.
That were cursing at their balls the whole time, right?
Yeah,
yes, they were.
He's not a fan. He's talking about a lot of poop. He said geese shit and dog shit a whole bunch of times.
Yes, he did.
It was a good time, though. I had a football tournament today, and that's about. Matt went bowling.
I did have bowling last night. Yes, I did. The Young Guns. Let's go. We also played basketball on Wednesday.
Yeah, we did. That was rough.
That was tough.
That was rough. I'm not gonna.
Holy shit!
Let's not get into details about that because people probably watch that don't want to hear their names.
Not tough athletically on me, but just tough.
I'm just glad I could play football, and I'm pretty sure he's glad he can bowl because basketball was not a send.
It was not.
Wednesday. The rust is real.
Rust is real. Things are slowly getting back to normal, somewhat.
Yeah,
a little bit. Coming, so weather's getting nicer.
Had to wear masks the entire time we played basketball. I had to wear a mask the entire time I bowl, but if that's what I got to do, then that's what I got to do right now. So.
Did you get your athlete on?
No, sure didn't.
Tough.
I supported you guys. I was there in spirit. No, none for me.
All right, well, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about some, since the NBA All-Star Game just finished, actually.
Yes, it did.
Team LeBron won, in case...
Yes, they did. 170 to 150.
Yeah.
Really not competitive, unfortunately.
It really wasn't. Too many ballers and shooters on that Team LeBron.
It really was.
I was going to say, do you think they were more showboating than anything, or what?
That was definitely not... I mean, it's an All-Star game.
All-Star game is, but...
You're there for a reason, and they're just having fun.
How were all the contests during it?
A little lackadaisical, but usually, other than the 3-point contest,
shout out Steph Curry.
Shout out Steph. That boy.
That dunk contest.
That boy is nasty. Yeah, that was probably one of the most just uneventful dunk contests I've watched in a while. Wasn't having it. Didn't really like any of the 3 participants that were in it. Nothing against them at all. Just, he needs some star power.
Yeah,
and those guys are not there yet.
No.
Do you think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's COVID and there was a lot of restrictions for what they could do, or do you just think they didn't get creative at all?
No, they just weren't really creative. I think it's just three really young guys who were trying to make a name for themselves, and sometimes it's just a dud, and that's kind of what happened there. Like I said, dunks weren't the greatest.
It gets harder every year because everybody's taking dunks.
Everybody's done the same dunks.
But yeah, if there's gonna be that, then you gotta have star power to bring the hype up. So
hopefully next year we can get a nice little Zach LaVine versus Zion versus Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, we need that
dunk contest. That'd be nasty.
Yeah, but in the spirits of that, we're gonna kind of go over some NBA midseason awards. I know everybody kind of likes to do that superficial thing, so we're just going to kind of give our thoughts on who we think has performed the best throughout the year, MVPs, defensive player, so forth. You guys know. I mean, some of y'all don't know, but that's what you're here for, so we can let you in on the awards, obviously. So
yeah.
Let's touch base on everything in case they missed it throughout the week before we get into that.
So I mean, there was the UFC fights, obviously. If you wanna.
There was last night, UFC 259.
Yes, sir.
Headlined by Israel Adesanya, who I voiced my displeasure for last week. Same with Jeff. Facing the Polish King, Yawn. And 3 title fights. Co-main event was the... they call her the greatest women of all time in UFC. She might just be up there for just straight
pound for
greatest of all time status.
She's a bad bitch.
I mean, just rolling through everybody. She fought Megan Anderson, and then third title fight was Piotr Yawn versus Aljamain Sterling for the bantamweight title
and
fight.
Some controversy, nice legal knee to the face.
Did end in some controversy. We'll get into that one first. Was a pretty good fight, actually. I felt.
Sterling came out real fired up.
Yeah, he did.
Sterling was fired up.
Yeah.
He was. Wasn't necessarily going to the game plan that he said that he wanted. He said he wanted to take Piotr down and take him to deep waters, drown him early.
Which I think he should have, but...
Piotr had some pretty good takedown defense at the beginning, actually, so he wasn't able to get him down and hold him down. So, when rolled over into the 4th round, it actually looked like Aljo was getting a little bit fatigued.
Yep.
And there was a instance where he was kind of on his knees. Piotr had his hands on the back of his neck, was just holding him down. And Aljamain had one knee down still, and Piotr just came up with a vicious knee. Caught him right on the side of the head. Didn't put him out, but definitely...
knocked him on his ass.
I don't know how it didn't put him out.
Definitely just put him all sorts of messed up. You could just tell that he wasn't there fully. A lot of people said it was an acting job, this and that, but...
His corner told him to hit him like that.
I mean, that was
His coaches were literally telling him to do that, and he literally just listened to what his corner was saying.
Yeah, but still, you got to know as a fighter not to throw.
You should know the rules. There was a little bit of miscommunication in the corner. One coach was saying, he's down, just punch him in the chest.
Yeah.
And then I think they were saying that Piotr had said, do I kick? And another guy in his corner said yes. So he threw the knee. Unfortunately, ended in a disqualification.
Yeah.
Aljamain is the new bantamweight champion. That is the first ever time that a title has changed hands due to a disqualification.
And he was unhappy about it.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to win that way, They're competitors.
Want to earn that,
They're competitors.
They want to earn it, I understand.
He's been training. I mean, when they do these training camps, man, they take away pretty much. It's usually about 6 to 10 weeks that they just go hard, and they take all that time. They leave their family. I know Aljamain was saying on some of the embeddeds, his fiance was still in New York, and he had bought a house in Vegas. So, who knows how long he was away from her, just putting all this time and effort in, and he's the champ now, but that's not the way that people wanna win it. So, Dana said they're gonna run it back as soon as possible. So, I guess we'll see what happens in the rematch. I think it's gonna be
a good rematch for sure, because they're both gonna have reasons to want to win, a little bit of fire on both sides, even more than it was to begin with, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, should be a good one. Both men are going to want to prove why they deserve to win that first fight.
Oh, yeah.
So,
They were talking a lot of shit during their interviews all week, so...
I mean, but you got to do that as a fighter. Especially going for a championship, you have to talk some shit.
Got to promote the fight, make some money.
The second fight?
Yeah, getting into the next one, Amanda Nunes.
Dismantled.
It wasn't really a fight,
like
unfortunately.
I said, this chick might just be up there for just greatest of all time in general. Men or women's, doesn't matter.
It's disgusting.
Just went in there and, Megan Anderson had like a 4-inch height advantage on her. You could easily see it, but she got inside. She threw one punch. Once it connected...
Done.
It was a totally different fight. Looked like deer in headlights.
And we were excited to see Megan go fight.
Yeah.
We all thought that she was gonna. You weren't excited? Okay, we were excited.
To win from the beginning.
I thought that the height and the reach maybe give Amanda something that she hadn't seen yet.
Yeah.
Definitely thought that Megan should have stayed on the outside, maybe threw some low kicks, try and take away that power right away, but that plan got foiled very quickly.
How long did it take her to? Because she tapped out.
Yeah.
How long did it take her to do that? It was first round.
I believe it was only like a minute and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
It was definitely under 2 minutes.
Because she almost broke her arm.
Yeah.
Just threw her in like a inverted triangle / arm bar. Just
two submissions going at once. That shit was nasty.
It was nasty. Like I said, greatest of all time in general. The amount of talent that she's just ran through is unbelievable.
And a lot of people were just nervous because now that she's like has her kid and she's married, that her mentality would just be different, and she went in and proved everybody wrong on that.
But she said herself that's just extra motivation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it can play with people in different ways. It can either give you extra motivation or it can kind of make you a little content.
Yeah.
And I think she definitely took the more motivated end. She's trying to give a better life for her family. So shout out to Amanda Nunes. What a performance there.
Bitch.
Yes, she is. What a performance. I was telling my dad last night, a lot of people were impressed with what Ronda came in and did at the beginning, and I just think it was, Ronda was a little bit ahead of her time.
Facts.
There wasn't a whole lot of, great women's mixed martial artists out there. There's some good ones, you had Misha, Holly, all them, but there wasn't the I guess depth that they have now, and Amanda has just dismantled every single one of them. So
she's not scared of anybody.
She is not.
I'm scared of her.
Definitely.
Put her against some of these dudes in this. You think she could take him down?
This Gen Z population might get a little sad about that, so let's not go there.
Sorry, Gen Z.
Talking about canceling Eminem for some goddamn lyrics 10 years ago.
Oh, man.
I ain't here for it.
I think Amanda would beat some ass in the men's division.
I would.
And then your boy, bro.
Moving on to the main event. Something that I have been looking forward to for a while now. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but it was technical.
Yeah.
It was good. I thought Blachowicz, if you don't know, Jan Blachowicz did win via unanimous decision. 49-45 on two scorecards, and then I believe it was 49-46 on the other.
I mean, I had it 4-1. I don't know. A lot of people were saying that it was tied going into the fifth round, and I don't see how they saw that.
Yeah,
outstroke him.
Yeah, there was some mixed scorecards. They were showing the Twitter feed at the bottom of the fight going on, and some people were saying it was 2-0 Adesanya after one. Some people were saying it was 1-1. I know some people had Blachowicz 2-0. I definitely think that Yawn should have got the nod in that fight regardless. Maybe it wasn't 4-1, but it was easily 3-2 if it wasn't 4-1.
And he beat him at his own game first 3 rounds.
Yep.
He did, which I was shocked at. I definitely thought that Yawn was going to go into the grappling a bit sooner than he did. I actually told, we're sitting here watching it, I told these guys that I thought that Izzy was kind of playing Blachowicz into that, where he drug him into the later rounds and was kind of hoping that he would maybe wear down and then kind of use his stamina to take over. And it looked like he was kind of trying to do that, and then Blachowicz got that big takedown in the fourth, and I think he was on top of him for like 3 minutes to finish that round.
Yeah, that's the fourth round.
Yeah, which was pretty good. And then fifth round he did the same thing. So, I mean,
and Izzy's not getting up from that much weight on top of it. That's like me trying to get up from this motherfucker wrestling me. It's not a good sign.
Not happening.
It's unfair.
Izzy kind of downplayed all week the weight discrepancy. Saying he was going to go in weighing 193 and this and that, and he was going to prove that size doesn't mean anything, that it's a technical battle and this and that, which I understand to an extent, but at the end of the day, 20 pounds is
20
that's
pounds.
a big
At least
difference,
20 pounds.
man. That's a big difference. He's not built for that weight class yet. He's got to definitely reassess it, but he's going to go back down to middleweight. we'll see what happens from here on out. But I am glad that the aura
And he got humbled
around him is kind
The
of
chip
gone.
off the shoulder needed to,
I'm glad the aura about him is a little bit gone now.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is weird about that fight is they were both, I know that there's like a certain mentality that they go into it, but he's always so cocky and such a showboat. Yes, during the interviews he talked a lot of shit, but going into the actual ring, they were both so calm and so ready for that fight, which is very unusual to see him do, for sure. So, I mean, I think he walked in that fight knowing that it was a good chance that he was going to get his ass handed to him. I mean, how could he think that he could just walk in and win? I don't know, but we'll see what it does for him.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to win. He thinks he's going to win every fight, but...
Yeah. And, that's the one thing that in the, and I guess some of the post-fight stuff, hearing these guys saying, oh, Yawn was supposed to win, he's bigger, and this and that, and da-da-da. No. If you guys watched ESPN or anything all week, that whole week was nothing but Israel Adesanya ads, commercials. This is our next big thing.
Puke in my mouth.
This and that, which is, it's fair, that was Dana's next cash cow. I totally understand it, but, that train got derailed. So, shout out Yawn, the Polish power.
Yeah.
Didn't knock him out, but, he got the job done, so.
That was some championship rounds for damn sure.
That's all you got to do is get the dub. Don't have to knock everybody out.
So, moving on from that event, Sunday concluded the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which was obviously something we love to watch, but we did not love to watch the ending because Mr. DeChambeau, who we dislike very much, came through and he won over Lee Westwood on the final hole. It was actually pretty close.
Stroke. It was good final day.
Yeah,
wasn't too bad. Unfortunately for Jeff, Jordan Spieth
can't get over that. Can't get over that Sunday hill, bro.
That Sunday hill just
I don't know what it is.
Struck again. Unfortunately, I think he was he +3 today?
Yeah.
+4.
6
+3,
under. Yeah,
+4.
6 under. Yeah, he started 9 under, finished 6 under, but. I mean, there was the elements were tough, a lot of wind, but you're tied for second going into Sunday. You gotta figure it out. But I mean, I'm just glad he's back in the top 10 every week now. So
he's playing better.
And next week's the Players Championship, so kind of just a good warm up for all these guys. So
yes, it was.
Unfortunately, the big idiot.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to him, but I think this whole he hits the ball, further than anybody thing. I'm just kind of sick of it. That has nothing to do with the game of golf. I don't care how far you can hit it. These long drive challenge guys are hitting the ball 100 yards further than he is, and
they're not on tour.
Not on tour. So.
No.
But I mean, he did have some nice saves. So, because his drives that's a goddamn roller coaster every time he gets up to that tee box.
Yeah.
It's going left, it's going right, who knows? But he played well, saved himself, so, congrats.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So should we move on to the main event?
I think you guys should probably talk about Blake Griffin, who we signed with.
That is right. Where did he
boy.
go?
I mean,
Where'd
I
he
think
go?
he went to your squad, bro.
Nice little
play with Kevin Durant.
Nice little Lob City reunion.
Yeah,
Here we go.
That's gonna be.
You think it's gonna be good?
I mean, they need depth and size, to be honest.
They do need size.
Because they get outboarded.
Yeah.
Once DeAndre Jordan goes off the floor, I mean that's gonna be a good, hopefully rotational piece.
And we'll see if he's if they move him into the starting lineup or if they bring him off the bench. I think you'll see a nice little mixture of everything coming down to the end of the season. Steve Nash is gonna throw out a lot of different lineups, kind of see what will work the best, kind of see what fits. I mean that's basically what the regular season is for, to see what your killer lineups can be to go into the playoffs and get those wins, because come playoff time it's just all about adjustments. It's not really anything other than that.
I think it'll be a resurgence for him too. Now he's playing with
definitely
superstars.
I think you'll kind of see it almost almost the exact same as what happened with James Harden.
Yeah.
You know, James Harden was kind of real lackadaisical, in his last, month in Houston or whatever. You know, he was obviously wanting out of there. Blake was on one of the worst teams in the NBA this year. How much motivation do you have when you were at almost the highest level, when he was with the Clippers, and then you go to Detroit, who's, doesn't even have 10 wins this year, and, they're definitely in a rebuilding mode, so that can kind of make you lose a little motivation, but...
Yeah, I don't think he'll get back to all-star status, but I think 15-8 a game would be perfect for what the Nets need right now. So
you go to a contender, that's a little bit of resurgence, so, go get that ring.
So let me ask a question. What are you guys most excited to see Blake do there? Like, what do you think he's going to bring to the team?
I mean, it's just like I said, he's just going to be another big body for them because they don't have any rebounding right now besides DeAndre Jordan. And when he goes out, then, I mean, they're just relying on... I mean, James Harden's probably leading them in rebound, do you think?
I think DeAndre's up there, but...
Kevin coming back is going to be length and everything too.
He's gonna bring some athleticism.
Yeah.
Definitely, he's like Jeff said, he's gonna bring some physicality. Even though people don't think Blake is the most physical player, I mean he's a big body. So I guess we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah. How long did he sign for?
It's just the rest of the year. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. All right. So you guys ready to get into it, or?
I think so.
Yeah, we can get into our mid-season awards. For those of you that don't know, there is 6 awards that get handed out at the end of the year. There is the MVP award, the Sixth Man of the Year award, the Defensive Player of the Year award, the Most Improved Player of the Year, the Rookie of the Year, and the Coach of the Year. So
I think we start from the bottom and then work our way up to the grand finale with the MVP.
That's totally fine by me.
Before we get into it, I just want to say thanks to everybody who reached out to us on our Instagram, because we definitely did a couple of polls throughout the week asking what your thoughts were, and we really love to hear from you guys. There was a lot of really good participation, and some of your answers we agree on, some of your answers made us laugh, but it was all good. So continue it. We really like that.
Yeah,
but
we'll keep doing these polls. You guys keep reaching out, and we'll see what happens from there.
So me and Matthew are just kind of going to give you 3 in each category, and then MVP we're going to give you our top 5, and then we're going to give you who we think is going to be holding that crown at the end of the season. So.
Yeah, we'll kind of go through the standings where they're at right now, I guess, and playoff format's a little bit different this year. 1 through 8, obviously, is what makes the playoffs.
Side note, if you don't know how any of this works, I'll be explaining this after this episode is done.
Yes, she will. So, like I was saying, 1 through 8 is the playoff format, like it always has been. But this year, 9 and 10, there's a little bit of a play-in tournament. So
same with 7 and 8, though.
Yeah, that's what 7 through 10 is basically a little play-in tournament. So the 7 seed at the end of the year will play the 8 seed, and then the 9 seed will play the 10 seed. The winner of the 7-8 gets an automatic berth into the playoffs, and then the winner of the 9-10 will play then the 8 seed, whoever that loser was, and the winner of that game will then get the 8th seed.
We'll break all that down. And
we'll get the 8th seed in the playoffs. So
get you guys situated.
A little weird, but I mean, it gives some extra teams some little hope.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so let's start.
Coach of the Year, huh?
Coach of the Year.
All right, so my list goes Quinn Snyder from the Jazz. I mean, he's obviously got the best record in the league right now, and he's doing it. I wouldn't say anybody on there is a bona fide. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's a star, but I wouldn't call him a superstar at this point. Yeah, I mean, so and he's kind of doing it with it's kind of like an Atlanta Hawks cast from a few years ago. They play good team ball, they play good defense, and they just get it done. And I mean, he's obviously got a game plan to work that team into a good position. My next guy is Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks. Obviously, if you know basketball, the Knicks are not a great franchise the last, I don't even know, 20 years. And he just brings this physicality, and he wants you to play hard every single possession, and he's got them, I think they're like 4th or 5th in the East right now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so I mean they got Julius Randle's playing very well, and they've got a bunch of young guns that are just playing a good role. And then my last would be Monty Williams with the Suns. He's got Devin Booker, but I mean having Chris Paul also helps, but he's a rookie head coach. He's come in and done a fantastic job there. He's got them playing lights out right now. I mean, they're second in the West.
They are second in the West right now.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're actually second in the NBA.
Yeah, because they're right behind.
The second best record in the NBA.
So yeah, they're playing lights out too. So
I mean, good, carrying over that momentum from the bubble. Yeah. I guess so.
And I think Quinn is. I think Quinn will probably win Coach of the Year. I mean, with the cast, he doesn't have like a bona fide superstar, like I said. But I think the Jazz. I don't think they're going to be at the top, but they're going to be one of the top seeds in the West. So.
Yeah. Going into my top 3. I actually have the same 3 coaches. Just
why am I not surprised?
Just a little bit of a difference in my 2 and 3. I do have Quinn Snyder number 1. Like Jeff said, Jazz obviously I don't think anybody really expected them halfway through the season to be the number 1 team. I'm even pretty sure that they got off to a really slow start at the beginning of the year, and then just kind of went on this tear and I mean they were smashing teams too. Yeah. They weren't just beating them by a couple buckets, whatever. I mean they were winning by double digits almost every night against some pretty tough teams too. Like he said, I don't necessarily see them keeping up that same energy, I guess you could say, when it comes to playoff time, because I think you do need that bona fide superstar to get yourself to that next level in the playoffs, and I just don't see it on their team. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously they have a great defensive player in Gobert. They have a great offensive player in Mitchell. Mike Conley's having a little bit of a resurgence in his career, good year, but I think you need a little bit more, when it comes to playoff time. Going into my second, I actually have Monty Williams number 2 with the Suns. Like Jeff said, if you can name, another player other than Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton on that team,
good luck.
There's not a whole lot of guys you can name on that team, and he's got them, with the second best record in the league, like I said, and they're also number 2 in the West. Just think he's doing a phenomenal job. Chris Paul definitely did though.
Yeah,
help a little bit more on the team.
Big leadership to that team.
He does. I did see this thing on Instagram the other day that said every team that Chris Paul has went to has upped their winning percentage by a pretty significant amount every time he's been there. So that's just a testament to him and his leadership. So
yeah, he went to the Thunder and had them in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's a trash team.
Yeah, they're pretty bad this year.
Look at that.
So, he makes a difference. He definitely does. He might not score a lot, but he's always going to make people better around him, which is the most important thing. And then number 3, I actually had Tom Thibodeau as well, which might be a surprise to some people, but like Jeff said, I don't think the Knicks have been in the playoffs since the Melo Stoudemire era that was there, which I don't even know if they made it past the first round ever, but haven't been in the playoffs since then, and he's got them playing pretty good ball. He's got a good system for Julius Randle, I guess, because he's having a career year. I had him there. I would just mention, I'll have a little bit of an honorable mention for my Coach of the Year, and I'm going to say Terry Stotts from Portland. The reason being, CJ McCollum's been hurt for,
a
little bit now, yeah. He's only played in a handful of games, and he's got that team, I believe, in 4th.
Yeah, they're up there
in the West. Yeah. Obviously having Dame Lillard is a big help.
5th.
Yeah, they're 4th or 5th. They're
Utah,
they're right in that mix.
LA.
Oh yeah, it is LA. So then Portland, yep. But they're right in that mix. Hopefully when CJ comes back, they can keep it up, and I think he's having a pretty good year so far. So Terry Stotts would be my honorable mention in that.
You good?
I think we're good.
Good on that.
All right, 6th man. And side note, Nicole, I know you asked, and I will explain.
All right, my sixth man. I don't think this is gonna be even a competition who gets this, but Jordan Clarkson is coming off. I guess he could be another bone. I mean, I put him on the same level as Donovan Mitchell. Like he just gets buckets, and
Yeah.
he's been doing it all year for them.
He
and
does.
I mean, he's probably averaging right up there with what Donovan Mitchell is, and
Yeah.
so I mean that definitely helps that they got one of the best bench players in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
For them. So yeah, I think he's gonna win it eventually at the end of the year. So some honorable mentions because I don't think they're gonna win. I would go Chris Boucher. I have he's a Duck, so I'm just gonna put him. He plays for the Raptors. He just super long and he can shoot the three and he's just bored. So and they kind of need that when Siakam's not in. So he's doing a good job playing his role there. And then third, I put Christian Wood, but he's just been injured most of the season. So Julius Randle is. No, he's not a six man. That's my next one. That's my apologies. He's not a six man.
That's all right.
I got him on the next one. I got you on the next one, Julius. But yeah, so Christian Wood, I would say.
Yeah, I would have had Wood in my list as well if it wasn't for him being injured for a significant amount of time. But I mean, when that dude was starting in Houston, I mean, he was putting up some numbers, and I had never honestly. I had never heard of him. I watch basketball pretty frequently, so. But he was putting up some pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
My top three, I also have Jordan Clarkson number one.
You guys are so ridiculous.
He's basically
everybody's gonna have
everybody's gonna have him.
It's a runaway.
He's basically the new. He's what Lou Williams to the Clippers was, for the last.
Jamal Crawford. He was what
Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing starter minutes in a bench role, so
Yeah.
he's gonna be able to put up starter statistics.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've watched a couple of the Jazz games. Dude's pretty dynamic. I mean, he's getting buckets out there. So, shout out Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
Having a pretty good year. Even though I cannot stand the Jazz.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
Cannot stand the Jazz. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I'll agree with LeBron for one time. Nobody likes the Jazz.
I have never
Ever.
even thought about playing with that team in 2K. Never even crossed my mind.
And Donovan Mitchell will be a crybaby all he wants, but nobody's gonna give them respect until they win a chip. Because
go earn it. My other two that I had for six man, I put Terrence Ross in there.
Yeah, he's a bucket
for the Magic. We've also watched him play a couple games. Dude just goes in and has the greenest of green lights that I have ever seen. He is just putting anything and everything up. Doesn't care where he's at. He can miss 10 in a row. He's still coming across half court and jacking it up. But he's also having a pretty good year. His stats wise, he's having a solid year. So I had him, and then a third one, which might surprise some people, but it's my boy, ex-Nugget, Carmelo Anthony. I think that he's been a pretty big reason that Portland's having the year that they're having so far, why they're where they're at, Obviously Dame's a star on that team, that's no question. CJ's the Robin or whatever you want to call it. He's definitely second best, but they've been missing Nurkic all year.
Yeah, and I think he's just been playing a starter role right now, but when CJ's there and Nurkic is there, he's obviously coming off the bench and he's going to get... And I think his production might go up.
I do as well.
Once they come back,
on the floor a little more.
And he's going to be against second-team guys, and you can't guard Melo as it is, and then you put a second-team guy on him.
He's put a couple of vintage Melo performances together this year. Unfortunately, one came against the Nuggets, but also resulted in a Nuggets win.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's had a couple of some vintage Melo games this year, so we'll see how that goes. See how it plays out. But ultimately, got Jordan Clarkson running away with that thing. It's not really close. So.
No.
All right, so let's move on to the most improved player.
All right, this is where I should have had my boy Julius.
Yeah, man.
He would be in my third slot. My second slot is Zach LaVine. He kind of went from being. I mean, he was playing at a good level last year, but he just. I mean, obviously he's in the All-Star game this year. He's got that team on his back. I mean,
he does.
He's putting up buckets like Bradley Beal is in Washington.
Yeah, LaVine's always been that player that was like, you knew what his potential could be, but he never really had reached it yet. he was put in a pretty poor situation to begin with in
Minnesota,
Minnesota.
yeah.
So, I mean, nobody's really star shine bright there, but
And he's taken on because he was in the shadows of Wiggins and Cat there, and then he basically got his own team in Chicago, and now he's.
I think they got Billy Donovan now.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty good system.
Yeah.
I've seen Shea Gilgeous shine under him a couple years ago in OKC, and now Levine is.
He knows what, And then my last is former Nugget Jeremy Grant. He bet on himself. He could have come back to a top 4 seed in Denver, and he decided to go to the Pistons, which we all know where they're at. They're not doing very well, but he's getting buckets there. I mean, he bet on himself that he was worth all that money, and he's proven it every day. So
yes, he is.
So
rolling into mine, I actually have Jeremy Grant at number 1. I just think he's had a career year. Like I said, he's on a bad team. But he has also been the best player on that team, for whatever that's worth. But he's definitely been the best player on that Pistons team.
Mm-hmm.
So, number 2, I had Julius Randle as well. I just think he's having pretty damn good year, man. I mean, he's had, a handful of triple-doubles, which that I wouldn't expect from him. A lot of people were kind of writing him off after he left LA, kind of calling him a bust.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's had a little bit of a resurgence as well, playing under Thibodeau, which I think that could have to do with some of the physicality. He's letting him kind of be almost like a point forward in a sense at certain times. They run a lot of stuff through him. He's had some really big games. He's having career highs in damn near every category. So, I had him at number 2, and then my number 3, which is, he's mainly just been doing this the last, I'd say, month or so. We'll see if he can carry it over into the second half, but it's Jarrett Allen. Got traded from the Nets to Cleveland. He has also had some really big games over the last month. And,
he got Drummond booted from his job, bro.
He did. He took over that starter role, and, we'll see if he can carry it over into the second half of the year here.
There's a theme going on here. A lot of ex-Lakers, I guess that's just so... They just don't treat their players nice, and they've got... Jordan Clarkson was there. Obviously, Julius Randle was there. Brandon Ingram won it last year. So I don't...
I could also throw, Lonzo Ball in that category. For most improved. He's had a career high in 3-point percentage this year. Don't really like the system that he's in New Orleans right now. They're trying to do everything, rightfully so, around Zion, but for Lonzo to be effective, I feel like he has to have the ball in his hand, and they're kind of taking it out of it. But I mean, he's having a good year in a lot of categories as well. So, but yeah, to Jeff's point, a lot of those ex-Lakers, all those years that right after Kobe left, and they were saying that this team's trash,
D'Angelo Russell's another one.
Yeah, this and that. I mean, they got just some.
Could you imagine if they all stuck there?
If they all stuck there, I mean.
LeBron don't even need, and now he's got a trash cast besides Anthony Davis.
I understand I understand the thought process behind it. If you think like a GM, you're in LA, you're in one of the biggest markets, probably the biggest market actually, right there with New York in the NBA. So, if you don't win in that city, you're gonna get run out pretty quick, and so he had to make some moves, but those moves are unfortunately kind of a little bit backfiring, I think. I mean, obviously they won the title last year, don't get me wrong, but they also had some really good players that got let go.
Could have kept Ingram instead of Kuzma.
Could have.
Could have had Clarkson instead of Contavious.
Yeah, they definitely
that
could
would
have
been tough, homie.
That would have been tough.
All right, let's move on. Rookie of the year.
All right, this is another runaway.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I didn't like him coming into the whole thing. That was Matt's boy. He was high on him, but I mean, it's LaMelo Ball. Like, he's gonna win. He should have been starting at the beginning of the season. I know they were trying to ease him into things, but the kid was playing overseas professionally, and he's he's proven it that he can do. I mean, he's averaging almost 20, like 6 and 7 a game. It's crazy.
He's having a really good year.
I don't know why they would put Devontae Graham in instead of him anyway.
Yeah.
But
I told Jeff his Warriors should have drafted him, but they did need a big, so they went and got Wiseman, which is understandable. But I was telling him leading up to the whole draft, I was like, "Oh, you should get LaMelo. It'd be the three. You'll have your three back. Obviously he's not the status of KD, but I mean he's getting buckets, man. He's getting buckets. But yeah, I honestly I seen MJ's comments the other day, saying that he actually picked up the NBA game a lot faster than they had anticipated, which was good for them, and that he's exceeded their expectations. I think he's kind of done that with everybody that watches the NBA, to be honest with you, because, you've seen his high school tape of him scoring
92?
90 plus points in one game, but
everybody was like, there's no defense there, and that's what I thought, yeah.
3/4 of it was him just standing on the other end of the floor and just cherry picking the whole game.
Yeah.
So you didn't know how it would translate, but I think the playing overseas helped him drastically.
Yeah, it was a maturing process for sure.
It was kind of the same thing. I'm not putting him on the same level as him, but kind of the same thing you saw with Luka when he came in.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like Luka, he came in and
he doesn't like European players, just so y'all know.
And you just really. As a side note, you gotta love it because Jeff will always go for these dudes just to piss Matthew off, and it's just so precious to watch them argue.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of the same thing. Luka came in, he was very mature for his age. He picked up the game, the NBA pace, really quick, and I think LaMelo's kind of carrying over that same thing. But who's your 2 and 3 in the Rookie of the Year?
I mean, I got Anthony Edwards just because he puts on highlights. And then I got James Wiseman. That's my Warriors fandom coming out. He's doing good things. He's soft right now. He's got to grow into that body, but I think he's going to be a stud, but he's definitely not going to win the Rookie of the Year. He may be better than Anthony Edwards is at this point next year, but I just don't. He's soft right now. He's got some maturing to do. So
I think the one big thing that's going to help Wiseman out is Draymond Green.
Yeah,
he is. You see him, in him every single time out, every time going up and down the floor. Yeah. He's telling him something. That's a great mentor to have.
Oh yeah.
Going forward, and then you also have Steph and Clay's in his ear. You got all these high level guys just in your ear every day. That's just gonna help him grow tremendously.
Yeah.
My 2 and 3, I had Tyrese Halliburton from the Kings at number 2. He has been hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think he's been playing some pretty good basketball this year. Even though the Kings, they're actually not terrible.
No. They're kind of sitting where they always sit though.
Yeah, they're kind of in the mix, but not really. For that play-in spot, but they don't have the bona fide star.
No.
De'Aaron Fox is a great player, athletic as hell, but he's not that superstar level. No. He's a great player, could even be a star, but he's not at that next level, and I think he needs somebody else to get him to that next level, whether it's a coach or another star player or whatever. But again, when you have LA, and you got both LA teams and then the Warriors who have been good for.
I know you got the Suns in the same division. So
it's
good luck. You got to play those 4 teams.
It's not a very
handful of times.
Yeah, not only that, but it's just not a very appealing place to go. I guess which is unfortunate, but that's just
it is what it is.
It's how the business works. Yeah. And then number 3, I had Emmanuel quickly from the Knicks. He was another one that came on a little bit later towards the first half of the season, but they started getting him some minutes, and he was putting up a lot of production.
Yeah.
So that's my top 3. Anthony Edwards, I didn't like him coming out of college. I thought he was a little, I guess you could say, overhyped. But he's actually playing a little better than what I had expected. I thought it was going to be another, what's his name, Anthony Bennett.
I mean,
situation.
Ben was a big body though.
I thought that was going to be another one of those situations where he just came in, number 1 pick, and just fell flat on his face.
I mean, there's a bunch of busts, but
there is. But he's had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
He's had definitely a lot of good highlights. He might have the dunk of the year right now.
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh my goodness. Got up on that boy.
Eesh.
Got up on him.
All right. The next one, Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, this is probably where we get our controversy going. My first is gonna be the big African Joel Embiid. He's on the best team in the East right now. He obviously is getting it done on the offensive end. He's in the MVP discussion too, and I know Ben Simmons is there, but I just think Embiid is more of a presence on the interior. I know Simmons blocks shots, gets all the steals, but I think Embiid's just doing it better. He's having a fantastic year. My second is Miles Turner. That I think he's averaging like 3.5 blocks a game.
He's leading the league.
That is outrageous. 3.5 blocks per game. That is outrageous. So, I think I looked at his rebound totals. It's like 6 a game. If he gets that, that's another
Texas
hook 'em.
boy. That's a Texas boy.
I think if he gets that, I think he's gonna win it eventually because I think Simmons and Embiid are gonna fight for that. There's not enough room for 2 defensive players on one team, so I think Turner's gonna get the nod. Just as long as he gets his rebounds up, 6 rebounds for being 7 feet probably.
Yeah, he's probably pretty up there.
You gotta get those numbers up. I guess Sabonis is taking all those.
Sabonis is taking a lot of them, yeah. So.
I mean, he's good too, but yeah, you gotta board better than that. And then my third, I know it's not pretty, but Draymond Green orchestrates the Warriors' defense. Once he came back, they became a playoff team again. When he started, he didn't start the first 4 games, and I think they were just terrible. He orchestrates everything on that defensive end. Yeah. He talks to everybody. I mean, he's not gonna have the gaudy numbers, the rebounds, the steals, and all that, but he gets that shit done.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so that's my 3, and
my top 3. It's actually not much different. I just have the different number 1. My 2 and 3 are the same. My number 1, I do have Ben Simmons. I seen a couple things that have him right now as rated as the highest defensive player, but that's not necessarily what I went off of. I kind of go off of the eye test. I just think it's kind of freakish how the dude can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't really matter. He can guard 1 through 5 regardless of position, size, doesn't matter, which is kind of rare to find. It's kind of that new age, though, where these point guards are a lot bigger. Yeah. And they're able to do that kind of stuff. And I think that's what's helped out Philly tremendously on the defensive end just because, you don't really have to – you don't really get in a mismatch. Yeah, you don't really get in a mismatch when you switch off stuff like that. Some of these smaller guards, they switch off on a small forward or something, and it's barbecue chicken all day.
Yeah.
But, Simmons, he's just as tall as most of these guys. So, and he's quick, he's athletic.
Yeah.
He's long.
It's honestly what LeBron James could have been on defense if he actually tried to play defense, but that usually doesn't happen.
Yeah, pretty true. And then my number 2, I did have Miles Turner as well. And then 3, I also had Draymond. Like I kind of said last week, Draymond's stats aren't necessarily ever going to jump off the box score to you, but if you just watch that team play, you can just tell the difference that he makes when he's on the floor and when he's off the floor. Even when he's off the floor, he's in, like I said, he's in guys' ass all the time. Yeah. He's always communicating with these guys, telling them where to be, telling them what to look out for. He's mentoring the young guys. He's trying to build that camaraderie and get that team better. And he's won Defensive Player of the Year before. I think he's the best defender on that team. I guess Clay's probably up there. Clay's probably one of the best defenders in the league too as well. But
Draymond talks it, and
Draymond's just a communicator. Yeah, Draymond's a communicator, so I got him up there as well.
Yeah.
All right, and the biggest one is the MVP.
So you want to go back and forth on this? We'll just go 5-1, and we can go. I'll give my 5. You give your 5. Like I'll get 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3.
Yeah, that's fine. Mine aren't necessarily in any particular order.
No?
No, I mean I have my front runner, and then I think 2 through 5 is kind of
Yeah, it's
just a
kinda
big
iffy.
hodgepodge.
Okay.
Like you could put it in any sort of list category. Doesn't matter because I think that all 2 through 5 for me at least on my list are having all arguably MVP seasons. So
This is the only one I haven't heard of Matthews. We kind of discussed everything before,
I'm
but
actually just shocked you guys are so in tune with each other on the same things. Like, I was kind of hoping you'd both be disagreeing.
I think this might be the big difference here because we like different styles of play. But
yeah.
my number 5 is actually going to surprise you. It's Mr. James Harden.
Oh.
He's averaging 25, 8, and 11.
Yes, he is.
This season. I don't have him as a front. So my most valuable player, the way I look at it is if you take that guy off the team, what are they gonna like? How are they gonna be after that? Like what is their success gonna look like? So James, I don't think if you take him off the team, they're gonna struggle. Obviously, they were doing it to KD and Kyrie, but coming with 2 other bona fide superstars and putting up those numbers, and he took a whole new role, and now he's facilitating and still getting buckets. You can't take it away from the guy. And I hated James Harden. I respect him, but I could not stand him.
I'm shocked because I was gonna just say I thought that you hated that dude.
I did, but I mean he's kind of humbled down, and he's not this dribble up top 100 times and shoot with 4 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah,
so
definitely gotten that different system in Brooklyn, and it's kind of flourished under it. Actually, I will be the first to say I was hesitant on the trade. Me and Jeff discussed it as soon as it happened. I told him, as long as I thought KD was going to be fine because he had already played with Steph and Clay and Dre and all those guys in Golden State, so I knew that wouldn't be an issue. I think he's super unselfish, so he's not really worried about his points or whatever. So
we both didn't want him to go to either of our teams.
Yeah.
When this whole trade thing was happening, we're like, please don't come to Golden State. Please don't go to Brooklyn.
And then I mean, he went over there. Him and Kyrie, kind of got their game plan together with each other.
Yeah. So.
And they've been playing good ball. So.
See how it meshes when Kevin comes back. So.
Yeah, we will. My number 5, like I said, my 5 through 1 is my 1 is my 1, but 2 through 5 is no particular order. But I did write them down. Number 5, I have Dame Lillard. Dame time. Boy hit the game winner in the All-Star game tonight.
Yes, he did.
But I just think, like I said, the way that I look at MVP, it's somewhat like Jeff, but not fully. I do understand the logic of if you took that player off the team, but I also look at it as how does that player impact that team when they're on the floor and then when they're off the floor, right? Like if you can tell that there's a total difference, if a team's going on a 15-5 run or something like that, when that player's off the floor, then, that's obviously pretty impactful. But, I got Dame as number 5. He's averaging, 29, almost 30 points a game. He's 3rd in the NBA in scoring. He's averaging, 4.3 rebounds per game, which it's top 50 for all guards in the league. You don't see a lot of guards, averaging really anywhere over 4 to 5 rebounds a game. And then he's got 8 assists per game, which is top 10 in the NBA. So
you need that pen, or are you good?
He's got
I can grab it. Oh,
he's got his team.
Took down the whole podcast.
Just almost took down everything there.
There you go.
Sorry.
He's got his team at number 5 in a really tough Western Conference. So, I had Dame
at 5?
At number 5 for me, yeah.
All right, this is gonna be a huge surprise, but I have Joel Embiid at number 4. I think he's gonna win it in the end. I just think he's gonna be the best player on the best team, and that's kind of how it always happens. I just don't think. I think they're not gonna be as good as they are, but if you take him off the team, Ben Simmons can still orchestrate that. They got Dwight Howard as a backup. He's nowhere near what Embiid is. They're gonna lose a lot more games than if they had Embiid, but he's averaging 30, 11, and 3. I just think if he got the assist numbers, he's gonna win it eventually, but that's just how I see it. I don't think he's as valuable as some of my other guys on the top of my list. So.
Gotcha. My number 4, which probably get a little hate from some Denver fans, but having Nikola Jokic in there.
Yeah, at least you put him at number 4.
I can't believe you did that.
I didn't even know you were gonna put him on that list.
Yeah, you know,
Sheesh.
I wouldn't say it's disdain for Jokic, but it's just something about him.
This is a big day, just so y'all know.
For real.
I just don't really. I don't know. He's awkward. He gets the job done. Don't get me wrong, he does, but you know, I feel like it's kind of.
He's almost averaging a tripped up, bro.
He is, but I feel like it's not as. I honestly feel like the Nuggets are best not when Jokic is having a great game. It's when Jamal Murray's having a great game.
I mean, Jamal's amazing.
Don't get me wrong. Jokic is the superstar of the Nuggets. But I think that when Jamal Murray is going, that's when that team is at its best. And I think everybody saw that in the bubble last year. And then, you know, hopefully, for whatever reason, Mike Malone, hopefully him and Michael Porter hash out their stuff. Whatever's going on there.
That's going to be a waste of talent if he doesn't.
It is.
The kid is. I mean, he could be KD 2.0. I mean, he's never going to be as good as KD.
I mean, the thing is, you know.
He's long. He can shoot. He's athletic.
He doesn't like the, I guess, lackadaisical defense that he plays at times, but you have to understand the kid is still young. Yeah, he's still young. I mean, you have to let him be out there and make those mistakes so that he can know what those mistakes are and fix them for him to get in. But, you know, back to the topic, Jokic, I did have him at number 4 on my MVP list. I do think he is the best player on the team. He's having a good year. You know, he's averaging 27, 11, and
9,
and almost 9 assists per game. You know, he's got the Nuggets at number 6 in the West right now. You know, I think if they were a little bit better, I guess, because they
started off bad, bro.
They've had some really bad losses.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we lost to Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Just some bad losses, but we've also had some good wins. So
we're also pretty hurt. I mean, Millsap's been out. Jermichael Green's been out, so
they have been. So but yeah.
I just want to remind you that this is being recorded, so anytime that you talk shit about him again, I'm gonna play this video back to you and say, "Do you remember?"
Number 4.
It's crazy.
I had him at number 4.
My number 3 is Jokic. Obviously, Matt just kind of went over everything, but I love Jokic. I don't care how goofy he is. I dig it. I love everything that is about Joker, but yeah, he's average. Like, that man has put up. He's having an outbreak season for me too. Like, I could never see him scoring 39 and 40 and 50 like he has been.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't ever see that. I always thought he would be like a 25, 10 and 10 kind of guy, but that man is balling out.
Yeah, he is playing good.
Yeah, so but yeah, that's my number 3. So we already kind of went over that. So if you want to hate your number 3,
my number 3, I have James Harden at number 3. Doesn't really have anything to do with, you know, the Knicks or the Nets. Doesn't have anything.
That's your crosstown rival.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't have anything with him to be playing on the team that I follow or nothing like that. It's just, you know, I feel like we said, you know, he kind of had a resurgence. He went to a new system. He definitely started playing, like Jeff said, way more unselfish than I think anybody has ever seen him play. And, you know, since going to the Nets, they're actually 17-7. So, you know, I think he's made a big impact on that team. Obviously, playing with 2 other superstars, it's going to be, you know, easy to play out there. But, you know, I have James Harden at number 3 for mine.
All right, number 2. Or no, we're on number 2.
Yeah.
All right, my number 2 is actually Dame time. I think if you take him off that team, they are a trash can. A big trash can. I don't, especially now, if like they don't have CJ or Nurkic, those are their other two stars. If you take him off, they are down there with Minnesota.
Yeah,
I don't see it. Yeah,
honestly.
I respect Dame. He's obvious. I think he's the closest to Steph, and that just there's a little rivalry going there. So it bothers me a little bit that somebody's trying to overpass my boy. But But yeah, I got Dame. He's averaging 38-4 like we discussed earlier. He's keeping his team where they need to. Once CJ comes back, and if Nurkic comes back, I know CJ's supposed to be coming back in a couple weeks, hopefully. But I think once they come back, it's gonna be rough in the playoffs. This push is gonna. I don't know. It's always in the West. It's always like 1 or 2 games, but I think it's gonna be even worse this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. I've always thought the West was the better conference, definitely, just as far as depth and I don't know. I guess talent wise, because I guess back in the early 2010s, there'd be teams that are like almost 10 games under 500 making the playoffs in the East, and I just never really followed the East at all. I was always a Western Conference guy, but
it's kind of balanced out now.
It's a little balanced now that all the superstars are moving around and stuff like that. But I mean, like you said, man, Dame's special.
Yeah,
that kid he's doing something crazy. I think definitely in clutch time, he has had probably the most phenomenal last couple of years that you could think of.
He just did it to my Warriors the other night. Doesn't shoot good all night and then,
all game, and then the fourth quarter.
Literally the last minute he puts the Warriors away, and it was disheartening.
Yeah, he's actually averaging 8 points per game in the fourth quarter, which leads the NBA this year. So, Dame time is he's coming up big.
Yeah.
For my number 2, I actually have Steph Curry, which is Jeff's boy, obviously. He's the greatest shooter that we've ever seen.
Ever.
It's honestly a damn honor to watch him just go out there and do what he does.
And it's so clean.
It is. His form is unreal. Just doesn't even matter where he is on the court. He can just drop it on you.
Yeah.
Has no care. He's averaging just about 30 points a game this year. He's top 5 in the NBA in scoring. He's averaging, 6.3 assists and 5.5 rebounds. Yeah. So, he's top 20 in guards for rebounds, but he's having a really good year. He's almost at the 50-40-90 club, which is a pretty prestigious club to join. I think he's already done it once before, no?
No, he's done it like 2 times.
I think twice,
2 or 3.
Yeah, so he's on pace for another one of those years, and
you might want to write that down. That's probably a good stat. 50-40-90. That's a good thing to let these people know.
And he's got his team,
Eighth?
playing good basketball. Yeah, and they're actually at 9th right now.
9th.
Just barely. They're half game out of the playoffs right now, but we said, the 9-10 gets in, and.
But literally, they win 2 games and they're probably sitting fourth.
Yeah. That whole Western Conference is so close. It's not even funny. But from them to go to a top 3 pick, and then to where they're at now, obviously him and Draymond coming back is a big factor in that. But I think Steph has more to do with that than anything. So that's why he was my number 2.
So number 1, I don't know if it's a surprise, but I have Steph Curry. Of course. I did some research. Steph is obviously, like we said, averaging 36-6. When he won his unanimous MVP, he was averaging 37-5. So he's putting up the same numbers that he did when he won a unanimous MVP. And we saw what they were last year when they didn't have Steph Curry, and they were a garbage can. They got a lottery pick. That's my team, and it was terrible to even. I couldn't even watch most of the time, and I couldn't watch because they were on no national television games, barely, because nobody wanted to watch a Steph Curry-less basketball team. But yeah, he's something special, and 30, putting up the same numbers like I said. So
the other thing I'd give a lot of credit to Steph for is there was a really, for whatever reason, just a lot of slander last year.
Like he wasn't.
About how Steph can't carry a team, and now Steph's starting to realize what LeBron went through and this and that and da-da-da, which, I don't understand. I honestly, we had this discussion last week. I feel like the only teams that I really give LeBron credit for actually carrying was those early Cavs teams. when he went to Miami, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, KD went to a 73-win team. Like, if you had Bosh and Wade, who says they weren't going to win 60 games in Miami? They recruited those guys to there, so, you had Bosh, Wade, LeBron. They get beat their first year, and then he goes and gets Ray Allen, who was he was actually the greatest shooter at that time. They go get him. They had good role guys. And then when he went back to Cleveland, he had Kyrie and Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Now he's got Anthony Davis.
Steph's doing it without.
Yeah, Steph's.
I mean, Dre's obviously a defensive player of the year, but the man orchestrates the offense too. To be honest,
Right.
Steph moves without the ball most of the time, but he's not a scorer. Steph doesn't have a Robin on this team. I mean, Oubre has his points every once in a while. Wiggins is Wiggins.
Right.
Let's not discuss Wiggins. But yeah, he doesn't have
reached his potential.
He doesn't have a Robin and he's the Batman. He doesn't have that, and I think all these other guys that I mentioned have. I mean, Dame obviously has McCollum, but he's been out.
Right.
Joker has Jamal, Embiid has Simmons, and James Harden has two of the best scorers in the league. So that's why I think Steph should be the MVP.
Yeah, I think Steph and Dame are kind of they're kind of in the same situation right now as far as teams go. Like you said, Steph's obviously missing Clay.
Yeah.
Dame's obviously missing McCollum. They're both putting up ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I mean, if you watch a Warriors game, just to see the amount of bodies that they throw at Steph Curry, and he's still able to do what he's doing, it's pretty special to watch. Not gonna lie, definitely some fun games to watch for sure.
So who you got?
My number one, I have the big process. Yeah, the process. The process took about 5 years, but the process is coming to fruition for Philly right now. I just think Joel Embiid's having, like you said, he's the best player on the best team.
Yeah.
He does have Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons is not necessarily a scorer.
Yeah. He still gets buckets, but
Embiid, he's averaging 30 points a game for a center. 11, almost 12 rebounds. 3.3 assists. Obviously, the assists aren't necessarily going to be there. He's kind of he's a little bit of a hybrid. He's a little bit more old school where he can definitely play back to the basket.
Like Jokic?
And be in the post. Yeah, kind of like Jokic, yeah, a little bit. And then he's also got the range. But, for them to be number one in the East, like I said, obviously a lot of people knew Philly would be good. I didn't know if they would be this good, especially changing coaches, even though Doc is a phenomenal coach. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, he's got that team at number one, so I got a Joel Embiid as my front runner for MVP.
Think he's gonna win it eventually? At the end of the season.
Yeah, it's tough to say, man. You got to see how this second half of the season is gonna play out. I think for whatever reason, they go off of standings a lot. Which I mean, obviously it's kind of hypocritical because I just said he's the best player on the best team right now, but best in the East at least. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. I think all five of those guys have pretty legitimate arguments for the award. So I guess we'll see how the second half of the year plays out. I guess I will say I do think Embiid's gonna eventually win it. Like I said, other than the top maybe 4 in the Eastern Conference, it's pretty bad below that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
So sorry, LeBron fanboys. Sorry, we apologize, but
I could put him in an honorable mention, I guess.
Once Anthony Davis left, what happened? They went on like a 4-game skid. They're struggling. I mean, LeBron's LeBron, and he orchestrates that team too. But Anthony Davis is a true superstar on that team now. So
he is. It's definitely you can tell the difference when Davis isn't there. Yeah. But I mean,
Because LeBron's got to carry more load, and that's just, I mean, at this point in his career, I don't think he's still athletically freakish, but he can't do that anymore. Like,
he still had some good games, but I think those games that he was winning in that lesser Eastern Conference, it's kind of getting...
It was easier.
It's kind of getting a little exposed now where you lose that one main guy, and, you know, obviously his supporting cast isn't the greatest, but, I mean, everybody was, you know, praising Caldwell Pope for his play in the bubble last year.
And look at what he's doing now.
Yeah, and then, you know, they signed Kuzma to this extension. You know, everybody's saying that he could be their third player, third best, and this and that. And he's got 2 former 6 men of the year, and Schroeder and Montrez.
And what is it? You can't do anything with it yet.
Yeah, I mean,
they've been a little hurt
I
too,
honestly, I don't like the argument that his supporting cast isn't great, because I think he's actually got a lot of really good pieces around him. Everybody was actually saying over the offseason that the Lakers had the best offseason because they signed Schroeder and Montrez. But
always excuses for LeBron James, though.
There is.
Always.
And it's fine. You know,
all right.
It's fine.
One question, Matthew. If Jokic and Embiid end up in the, like, 4th, let's just say the 4th seed on both, and they are averaging about the same, who's your MVP?
If Jokic and Embiid are the same?
Yeah. Like, they're both 4th seed. Let's just say they have the same exact record. They're both 4th seed in the West and the East, averaging, Jokic is 30-11, or Embiid's 30-11 and 3. Jokic is 27-11 and 9. He's averaging almost a triple-double, which is what Westbrook did, what Harden did, and they won the MVP. So I just want to get your... I know you don't want to say it, but... And Embiid's dope, but...
Yeah, I mean... I don't know.
I'm just trying to get it out.
It's the eye test with Jokic for me, I guess. I don't know. It's just... I watch and it just doesn't...
Goofy.
I mean, he's goofy as they come. You know, he's real like, just awkward in his movements.
Is it because he's lanky?
I mean,
no, he's
the way his body.
It's just his body shape. Yeah, it's just.
I mean, it's a running joke that he doesn't look like. I mean, you get that meme all the time that the little fat chubby kid that, and this is what's beating LeBron James. But I just want to get your thoughts. But we can move on.
Yeah, we'll just move on from that one.
Save it for another day.
All right. Well, let's move on to the East seedings. What do you guys think?
The East. So I'll start from the. I'll go with the 7 through 10. I'll just start with that. I think it's gonna be the Knicks, the Pacers, the Hornets, and the Bulls in the bottom, playing for the play-in to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. You know, I think, like I said, the 1 through pretty much 4. I think Miami's actually at 5 right now, if I'm not mistaken, which I think they're gonna move up. I don't see Miami staying at 5. You know, Jimmy Butler's missed a lot of games. He's obviously the heartbeat of that team.
Yeah.
And
they don't have a full. They had Dragic most of the season. Hero's been out.
They were missing a lot of guys due to COVID.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, other than that, I mean, like I said, I honestly think the East is just going to be 1 through 4 regardless of how the standings work out. I think the top 4 teams are just that much better than the bottom half of the division conference. Sorry, but we'll see if looking at the standings now. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think a team that might be able to sneak in to that 10 might be Washington. They've actually been playing some pretty good ball lately, which is definitely
I would like to see Russ
saw.
Figure that out, but
I don't know if you saw, but Russ went back to the low cut fade. He went back to he
the
cut
hair
off,
makes a difference.
He cut off the high top fade. He went back to MVP haircut, Russ.
Yeah, Steph had the braids at the beginning of the season, and then he cut that off, and now look at what Steph's doing.
Yeah, he went back to
we might be in trouble.
To MVP, you know, Russ haircut. So
I would honestly like them
we'll see
to be in it, but
I mean, they're 7-3. Looks like in their last 10. Yeah. So, you know, and they beat the goddamn Nuggets twice, right?
Yeah.
Beat the Nuggets twice. Where was Jokic there?
I think-
Oh,
Couldn't beat the
God.
Wizards.
That's tough.
Rui Hachimura was
That's
got
tough.
the best of your boy there.
That's tough.
Nah, all kidding aside. Like I said, I root for the Nuggets. I just have. I just throw my little shots in.
Yeah.
They just got to win for me, man. You know, I mean, they just have to win. Obviously, they got to the Western Conference Finals last year, but then they just got flat out embarrassed. It was pretty embarrassing for them to do what they did to the Clippers, come back, beat who a lot of people thought was the best team in the NBA, and then to just have LeBron shit on them.
Yeah.
You know, they gotta earn it back for me. But yeah, I think Washington might be able to sneak up in there.
Well, who do you got? Who do you predict 7 through 10?
Man, I think, yeah, I'd probably have to say,
Because I got Knicks, Pacers, Hornets, Bulls. I think
I'll
that's gonna be
say-
the play.
I'll say Charlotte, Chicago, Toronto, Washington.
You think Toronto's gonna drop into the 10, the 7 through 10?
Yeah,
Oof.
they're just, with all the trade talks about Lowry, who knows if a lot of it depends on the trade deadline too. Seeing
we're
where
just
some of
kinda
these guys do it.
predicting
Yeah,
what
this
that
is just
big
kind of right now, but
Pre-trade deadline.
yeah, if you look ahead to the trade deadline, a lot of Kyle Lowry's been a name that's came up a lot
Yeah.
in a lot of trades. There's a lot of high contending teams because you can kind of see that the Raptors are almost in a rebuilding kind of thing.
I don't know if they're rebuilt. I mean, they got Van Vliet and Siakam. That's their obviously
Yeah,
centerpieces.
Van
but
Vliet's playing good. He got the contract. So I think that's why Lowry could get traded because they're trying to give that team to Van Vliet.
and he's older and
Right. I just think that might be a little bit of a mistake. I think Lowry's kind of he's not on the same level as Chris Paul, but I think he's the Chris Paul of that team.
yeah.
He's got the veteran leadership. He's been to the playoffs. He's done all that. But I mean, that's just how the business works. So I think if I just don't see Toronto. I didn't think Siakam was.
I don't like him either.
He
but-
played a good Robin for Kawhi
yeah.
in that in their finals run, but I mean after that he hasn't really done much. Which I didn't see him doing much. I feel like he's really one dimensional. He's got a spin move. He's got a spin move. Yeah, he's like a goddamn dryer.
Hit a 3 once in a while.
Every day. I think his shooting is terrible.
It is.
Yeah, so every once in a while, but I just don't see Toronto.
All right.
Yeah, I think they're gonna fall a little bit. I think they're still in the.
I got them at 6th.
I think they're still in the 7 through 10 discussion, but I just think, yeah, I think they'll fall.
Who do you
down
think's
a
gonna
little bit.
be 6th then?
Probably New York.
Okay, so you just got we just
either-
flip flopping on that.
Either New York or Boston. I just think that for New York, they
You got Boston at 6?
were they've been playing really tough, man.
Because I got it. Nets, Sixers, Bucks, Heat, Celtics, Raptors. That would be my top 6.
Mine would probably. I do think Brooklyn is going to overtake Philly for that 1 seed. I
Yeah.
mean, adding
much star
Griffin,
power.
adding Griffin, and then even though Griffin's a little bit, him and DeAndre aren't necessarily in their Lob City prime that they were. I think they're still going to be productive. So I do have the Nets taking over that 1 seed. I'll go Philly 2. Milwaukee will definitely be probably in that mix at 3.
Yeah.
And then like I said, I think Miami
Yeah.
is gonna.
I got them 4.
They're gonna pick it up here in the second half and kind of get themselves going.
And then the Celtics are obviously a disappointment, but then they'll be 5. But
Yeah, see, and I think that's another team. I feel like I don't know who, but I feel like they're gonna unload somebody.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that team is. I mean, I feel like it's almost been for like the last 4 years. They've been talked about as one of the title favorites.
Yeah, and they never,
every single year, and they have just never done it. They tried the Kyrie experience there, obviously didn't work out. They tried to put veterans around Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and then for whatever reason, it's just not working, man. I think Tatum and Jaylen have really weird games to kind of.
Yeah. They don't complement each other.
Yeah, they really don't. They're just not. Something just isn't working there. Don't know what it is. I'm not a Celtics fan either,
No.
but that's totally just not. No bias involved in this. It's just. I just think they're super underwhelming. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're going to be there. And then,
Yeah.
then the Knicks. The only reason I got the Knicks staying up there is just their defense.
I just think they're too young, bro.
Yeah, they are. I just think, Thibodeau, even in New York, even in Chicago, he's always been known for having a really good defensive team.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a new age. Defense doesn't necessarily win championships in the NBA. You got to have scoring, which I think they're kind of lacking. But, I think if that defense shows up and Julius has to have the same second half as he does the first, I think the old Knickerbockers might make their way back into the playoffs. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the West seedings.
All right, we'll just go 1 through 10. I got Lakers. I think AD comes back at some point and they get it all together. I mean, they've got the talent. I think they're going to be at the top. I think the Clippers are going to be second. I think it's the same thing. Kawhi and Paul George are going to put it together, and I think they do all that load management stuff. I think once it comes down the line, they're gonna play ball and pick back up their level of play. And then I got the Jazz at 3. I think they're gonna fall off. I honestly don't. I think it's a fluke, whatever
Fluke,
spoof,
it's a
whatever.
fluke right now.
Spoof. So, I think I was trying to put spoof and fluke together. But anyway, I just don't. Yeah, I don't think they have. I think Donovan Mitchell. I think it's gonna get to his head that everybody's talking all this hate to them, and I think it's gonna be too much. I don't think they're ready yet for that championship pedigree.
Oh no.
So I think they're in the same spot as the Nuggets are. They need something, but the Nuggets I feel like are ahead of them, even though they're gonna not finish as well. I got the Suns at 4. I think for obvious reasons. I don't know if they're gonna surpass. I think they're gonna kind of fall off. I don't know. I mean, Chris Paul's doing a good job there, but I think they're young too. I think Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, if they step up the rest of the season, they could get into that 3 or 2. But I got the Nuggets at 5. I got the Blazers at 6. And then the play-in 7 through 10, I got Warriors 7, I got Mavs 8, I got Spurs 9, and I got Pelicans at 10.
Yeah, I think I actually think that Utah is going to stay in the 1 seed.
I think so.
Yeah, the only reason is because I looked at their second half schedule.
Is it pretty?
It's pretty favorable. They're not playing the toughest second half schedule that there is to play. They play the Grizzlies a couple times who aren't very good.
Yeah.
I mean, they play a lot of these bad teams, a couple times each.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's the only reason that I have them staying at 1. I don't think it's going to carry over into the playoffs. I think they can have a pretty good. I don't even know. It depends on who the 8 seed is, because I think
if you have it that way, then
if you have Golden State or, like I said, the West is super.
Golden State, Dallas could upset them easy.
Even if New Orleans got it,
The
if
Pelicans,
New Orleans gets hot.
Yeah.
If New Orleans gets hot, that's one of the best offensive teams in the league. They just need to learn how to play defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had I'll take the Jazz at 1. I will probably I'm gonna say Clippers at 2.
Okay.
Just because I'm not super certain on Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of the same shit when KD had the same injury.
Yeah.
In Golden State, it's just a calf strain. It's just a calf strain. He goes out and goes hard for 10 minutes and fucking blows out his Achilles. So, obviously I want AD to be healthy.
We like everybody.
Honestly, I have no. Just because I don't like LeBron doesn't mean I disrespect the guy or nothing like that.
Yeah.
He's a great player. I'd never wish injury upon anybody. On any team, regardless of how I feel about him. You did what? Wish injury?
I didn't wish injury, but when Tom Brady tore his ACL, I laughed.
Wow, dude.
And then guess what happened? Good old ACL.
You tore yours right after? Yeah,
I think it was like 2 months after.
That's karma. That's tough karma right there. Yeah, but I just don't know how that whole AD thing's gonna play out. So, but I guess we will find out. I'll still put the Lakers at 3. I think LeBron can do enough
Yeah.
to get wins on that team. I mean, he has had some bigger scoring games, and they've won some games. So, credit to him on that. He did have some games where he was carrying them and, they were winning, but he's got to get help from that supporting cast definitely, because I feel like if he has to do everything come playoff time, he might be, a little worn down.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of minutes this year.
Playing a lot of minutes,
Yeah.
and especially with the shortened off season, and them winning it last year. So, I guess we'll see how that plays out. I will go. I'll put Denver at the 4.
Really?
Yeah, I'll put Denver at the 4.
Over Phoenix.
Over Phoenix. They're only 3 games behind them right now. Not a super big lead. Yeah, I'll put Denver up there. I just think that I think them going to the Western Conference Finals last year is going to help them in this second half of the season.
And Jamal.
Jamal had been playing out of his mind these last few games.
Yeah.
So, I think that they can definitely make a nice little run, get up into that 4. But I will have them matching up against Phoenix, because I'll put Phoenix at 5. Yeah, and I think that can be a pretty tough matchup there. Just think it's going to be. It's almost kind of the same thing that we might have seen in the bubble last year when they played the Jazz. You got Jamal versus Booker.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then you got DeAndre Ayton versus Jokic. Like Gobert. I think Gobert is better than DeAndre Ayton, obviously, but those are the 2 bigs matching up, and then, Chris Paul will be the X factor. I guess we'll see if he leads them or not. I will go Portland 6. I'll put Golden State at 7, Dallas at 8. I will go New Orleans at 9, and then San Antonio 10.
It's almost the same.
Yeah, I think Memphis is gonna fall out. I just don't see it. I think Ja's a good player. He's dynamic, but name another player other than Ja Morant on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Dylan Brooks.
You know what I mean?
Oregon Ducks. Shout out Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, I mean.
Who else?
They had what's his
Who else is on?
Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson. Let's see if we can name some Grizzlies.
Is it Jonas Valanciunas? Is he on there?
No.
I think Valanciunas is on
Oh
there.
yeah, big old Raptor.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah. Travis Kelce playing basketball.
Yeah. I think he's there, but yeah, man. It's just.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I literally can't name anybody else.
I don't think I can either. They're super, and it, like I said, it sucks because those low market teams don't have the sex appeal for the.
Do I have the sex appeal?
For the big name.
Lord, ladies, Jeffrey is single.
Yes,
he is single. We are in search of a nice,
really
wholesome, sweet angel for this man.
Yeah.
Normal.
You
Please
can have
be
a
normal.
side if you want. It's fine. Just don't be too crazy. Please. Please. I've had enough of that.
Enough of the crazies for Jeffrey.
Anyways,
back
moving
to
on.
Sports.
Yeah, back to sports. I just don't think Memphis has the firepower to stay in there. Honestly, I'm not super confident in the Spurs either, as far as
but you
talent.
got Popovich.
That's the only reason I have them
You got
staying
DeMar
in
DeRozan.
is
LA's has been
Greg
out too.
Popovich.
LaMarcus Aldridge's been out.
Yeah, LaMarcus has been out a lot. I think Rudy Gay's been out a lot. So.
And DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is pretty. He's a stud.
He's nice, man. Kid's playing some good ball, so.
So yeah, but.
Yeah, I think they'll still stay in it though. I just don't.
Yeah, no.
I think the top 8 seeds are gonna be the ones to be in. The only one that I could see maybe jumping in is maybe winning that playing game is New Orleans. And like I said, it's just because of their offense. When that team is rolling, man, they're freaking rolling. It's pretty crazy. But again, they don't play any defense at all. I think they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league.
No, it's like 28th or something like that.
Yeah, they're pretty bad on defense. So.
And all this is pre-trade deadline, obviously. I think there's gonna be a lot of moves. I think a lot of teams need a lot of pieces to try to get by. So
yeah,
I think New Orleans is about to unload a few players.
Right.
So.
I think a couple of teams could though. I think Might see DeMar
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan going somewhere too from the Spurs.
The more I say it, the less I like it.
Oh, heard.
Hashtag Drake. Shout out Drake.
Do your
Follow us.
hashtag.
Drizzy.
Hashtag Drake boys.
Hashtag Drake Joyce. That was last episode.
All right, so now that we went through all your lists,
Mm-hmm.
if you can picture the end, who are the two teams that you both want to see?
Who we want to see or who we think is going to be there?
Who do you want to see at the
Who
end?
I want to see? I want to see a. Honestly, I want to see a Brooklyn Nets, LA Lakers finals. Only reason.
Pass the torch.
Only
For real.
reason
That'd be good.
is so that KD can be 3-0 against LeBron in the NBA finals.
That'd be
That
dope.
is literally the only reason. And I can hear all these little Sallies saying, "Oh, they had to buy that team just to beat LeBron." Nah, that ain't it.
Isn't he lost one though, didn't he?
Oh, that
In
is true
Miami.
in Miami.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
tough.
Sorry to brag
That's
first.
tough.
That's all right, but still, you have a
3-1.
winning record, yeah.
3-1 against LeBron.
So you want LA? That would be a good.
Just for that reason alone, I just love seeing LeBron get there and then just losing. I get joy out of
What
it.
is
I don't
with
know why.
you?
I get joy out of it. I love seeing
Vicious.
love seeing all these LeBron little fanboys.
His
you
dad
know,
is who he's talking about.
Make excuses.
Shout
make
out Angel.
excuses about.
Shout out Angel.
No, he doesn't cry about it. I just love seeing him make excuses about why LeBron lost and this and that and it wasn't fair. They had 4 superstars and blah blah blah.
Oh, I can already
blah.
see it's a short and off season and all
I,
that. It's
I,
gonna be.
I do not care.
Okay,
Yeah.
who do you want to see?
Who I want to see would obviously be the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
But who I think I don't know.
Who do you want to see? Because I'll get to who do you think we'll see. Who
Okay,
do you
who I
want
want to see? I want to
Yeah.
see the Golden State Warriors and the Brooklyn Nets.
No, you don't.
So me and this boy
Oh
you
no!
can go to Golden
Oh,
State.
please.
Can go
You
to.
don't.
Please no!
No, you don't.
I don't want to live that.
Wouldn't that
I don't want to live that.
come back, Clay?
Uh,
Game over.
Oh my god!
Shut
If
it down.
that happens, pray for me. That's
Shut it
all I'm
down.
gonna say, because that's gonna be a rough time.
I'm fired up. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, who do you actually think is gonna be there at the end?
Okay, I actually still have the Brooklyn Nets there. To be honest with you, that's not biased at all. That's just I do think they have too much firepower, and I don't think that anybody is going to be able to stop them in the East.
It's gonna be a tough Eastern Conference Finals if it's the Sixers and them.
Yeah,
I think.
um,
Just because the Sixers play defense, and I think they
do.
have the length.
They
to,
do, and I also think that if they meet, I think anybody that Miami meets is going to be tough. Miami's going to make it tough on anybody that they meet. Honestly, I think just because of that reason is their defense, but I don't think they have the offensive firepower to keep up with the Sixers or the Nets.
No way.
But I think Miami would probably get to the semis.
And then
Eastern
out of the
Conference
West?
semis. Out of the West, I honestly think it's gonna be the Clippers this year. I think the Clippers will do it. I think they'll take the West this year. I think it's gonna be what everybody wanted last year, the
Yeah.
LA versus LA
Yeah.
in the Western Conference
West, yeah.
Finals. That's not a knock on any of the other Western Conference teams. I just think that those two. I guess again, that's depending on how Anthony Davis's health is.
Yeah.
But if he is healthy, I do think the Lakers will get there. I think the Clippers will get there. I think we'll see that matchup. I just think the Clippers with the rest that they got, and the Lakers having to play as much as they did, I think that the Clippers will be the ones representing the West this year. What about you, dude?
I think the Nets will be in the finals from the East as well. I think, like I said, it's going to be tough with the Sixers, but I just think firepower and skill is gonna overdo that.
Yeah, they really don't have
Yeah.
anybody to stop Embiid,
No.
unfortunately. But
Yeah, but hopefully, Blake Griffin's just another big body it's gonna help. It's not gonna cancel that out by any means, but it's gonna help just wear Embiid down.
Right.
Yeah. So and then I think the Nuggets are gonna play the Clippers and lose in the Western Conference Finals, and it'll be Clippers as well.
yeah,
It's gonna be dope. You got the claw.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of firepower in that. If that's an NBA Finals right there, got Blake and DeAndre playing their old team.
Yeah, it's gonna be so many storylines.
Kawhi and Paul George. You know, can they finally get the Clippers their first championship?
I think they make a splash to get them over the top in the trade deadline too. I think they pick up some kind of guard play or something.
The Clippers.
Yeah, I think they got to pick up.
Because I could definitely see
Patrick Beverley, he's a defensive stopper, but I mean, and that'll be good to guard Kyrie. But I think I think Lou Will's on the decline for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely on the decline.
He's not doing much this year.
I think that Ibaka's a nice piece that they have there.
Yeah.
He's obviously not the Ibaka that he was in OKC, but still playing efficiently. But yeah, I think they do need a guard scorer. Definitely somebody who can facilitate and score to put them over the top.
And I think y'all need a wing. I think the Nets need a wing defender to pick up somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin's gonna come back and hopefully be healthy, and he can do that. But James Harden's obviously better, and I don't think Kyrie can play like a defense, but they need somebody that can guard. They need I don't know how you're gonna guard Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be dope, and I'll probably root for the Nets.
Here we go.
I'll be on your side.
Here we go.
I really don't like anybody out of the West besides the Nuggets and the Warriors are the only teams I root for out of the West.
Yeah.
If the Nets don't make it, I don't know.
Yeah, I would probably anybody that makes it in the East over. If it's not the Nets, I'll probably root over.
You would root Giannis over LeBron James?
Oh,
ooh.
Oh
two
my God.
hated people by Matthew.
That's a tough one.
I feel like that's a good subject to talk about. Is every player
I would probably
that is painful for him.
I would probably just root for Giannis just so that he could get his first, and just so that LeBron doesn't get one again.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Again.
And I'm not a Giannis fan at all. I promise you that.
No.
Not really sure how the dude went. What was he, 16 for 16 tonight in the All-Star game? Won All-Star game MVP.
The man can't shoot free throws. I mean,
he made 3 threes, hitting the top of the backboard, basically the top of the square on a bank shot. I mean, it was just not it for me. I feel like if the Clippers, we were talking about him earlier, maybe what if they go get Lonzo Ball in a trade?
I mean, he's long, and he plays defense.
Yeah, that'd be another
and
defensive.
That would be a good orchestrate, because Patrick Beverley is. I mean, he's not very good at orchestrating, and he's gonna get space to open up.
I've also seen them talking about the Clippers getting Kyle Lowry, and I think that would be
that would be tough too.
That would be tough, yeah. Like I said, another guard who can complement those two would definitely.
And they're gonna have so much more space. Kyle Lowry goes there; he's not gonna have to run the show.
Right. And I honestly think they're gonna need that they're gonna need somebody to beat the Lakers as well.
Yeah.
If they meet the Lakers in the West Finals, just because, Schroeder, you got Schroeder, LeBron, and AD.
And Kyle Lowry plays defense.
Right.
He's a nasty little fuck.
Yeah, he is. He's an irritant. That's what he is. He's an irritant.
Imagine having him and Patrick Beverley on the same team.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, fuck.
How many technical fouls are going to get handed out?
That's a technical foul.
You're stupid.
It's Adam Sandler. Sorry, you wouldn't. I guess.
Of course I wouldn't know, right? Because it's Adam Sandler, and that has something to do with sports?
It's sports, yeah. It's a whole song about things about sports. You got anything else on our agenda?
No, the other agenda is my agenda.
Her agenda.
My agenda.
Y'all stay tuned, because Nicole, she's gonna break down all kinds of stuff.
Coming in hot.
What do you got on that? What do you got coming for the people that don't know what?
I'm just explaining a few things.
She's
Everything
got
that you guys
bunch
talked
of basketball terminology that y'all probably
how
don't
the
know.
playoffs are working this year, and just a couple of things that some people reached out to me about. And then I got to talk about this 50-40-90 thing that you told me.
Yeah, you just put it in there. It's just another thing because that's a prestigious thing to be in. So
yes, it is. Who both of our boys have joined that club before.
Shout out Steph Curry winning that 3-point
KD
contest.
Trey 5/7.
Oh,
And he's 7 now though.
Yeah, he is 7 now.
I don't know why. Yeah, where did that...
Just wanted a resurgence, dude.
A resurgence.
Wanted to get rid of the...
Term of the day? Resurgence.
Wanted to get rid of the...
I don't know the definition.
I was going to say, are you going to Google
30,
it?
wanted to get rid of the 35 mystique, I guess.
But where did 7
I
come
believe 7 was from... what was it?
Time out. A resurgence is an increase or a revival after a period of little activity, popularity, or occurrence. So we talked about a whole lot of resurgence today. Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, full circle. You went full circle with that.
God, we're good at this podcast thing.
My guy. I'm proud of you.
Now let me get this going
Oh,
on.
here we go. All right. Does anybody else have anything that they want to bring into the show today? Nothing? Besides you being a whole idiot right now.
No, I'm just super sore in my shoulders.
Golfing did that to you.
It was a long off season of no golf. So.
They can't hear you when you do that because it's so dang loud.
Oh, they can hear me. I can hear me in the headphones. Can you hear me, Matthew?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So apparently,
We got more
according
research.
to
Google
says when asked why is Kevin Durant wearing number 7, the 32-year-old said that he chose the number because it stands for the completion in the Bible. The former Golden State star said that God rested on the 7th day after creating heaven on earth. My boy.
Say your prayers.
That is my boy. I know he picked 35. I believe it was because of his high school coach or something like that, which is what he had always wore. Yeah, he's number 7 now. So.
Bet. Well, thank you all for tuning
Appreciate
in again
it.
and listening to what we had to say. I know this
Appreciate it.
hopefully it just keeps getting better.
Before we say bye, we want to say thank you for sharing,
We're not
liking,
saying bye yet.
subscribing. Oh, we're saying bye.
I mean, we're saying bye,
wrapping
but
up.
I was getting there. God, you interrupted me.
You're dramatic.
Go for it.
We appreciate all the love and all the support and all the fantastic things you guys have said
Yes,
to
we do.
us. It's been so awesome. So thank you so much. Continue to like, share, follow, subscribe.
We out you.
Remember, if you guys have anything that you would like to see on here, if you want us to answer any
I mean,
questions,
close to anything.
if you want us to debate about anything,
If you want to date with
close to
Jeffrey,
anything.
let's talk. Let me see if you're all right first.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do interviews before we
Yes.
go about that process.
Yes.
I will be part of that interview crew as well.
Yeah, Matthew has tried to get me to not date plenty of girls, and
Yeah.
that has
Jeffrey
gone
hasn't
awry.
listened, and it's gone bad for him. So
Back to sports. We appreciate it.
appreciate it, guys. Remember, like she said, like, follow, subscribe. The COLab experiment.
COLab Jeff.
COLab Jeff.
Cole.
COLab Cole. COLab Matt. Tweet us, DM us. Anything doesn't matter. Jeffrey's getting his massage on. He's
Sorry.
hurting right now.
It's time.
We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
We out you.
Let's go.
You guys are idiots.
We have to.
Oh.